But I thought that kind of putting those things together would make a fun show. So our show is incredibly light. It's live from my mom's half-finished basement, and we sit at a rickety card table with some of the biggest names in money, like Gene Chatsky from the Today Show, or Jill Schlesinger, who's the CBS business and finance analyst, Rick Edelman, who was the #1 financial planner in America many years in a row, David Bach, who wrote the Automatic Millionaire. You know, if you've ever heard of the Latte Factor, lattes will ruin everything. That's David Bach. So we've had all those people come on, but they always come down and sit in the basement with us on beanbag chairs, and we kind of talk money in a goofy way. And when people don't know that, those are the negative reviews our show gets. Our show gets, other shows have lots of nuggets. You guys have some nuggets, but it's mostly you messing around. And yes, it is. But I'll tell you what good happened. I mean, Kiplinger magazine called us best podcast last year in their December issue. Art of Manliness, which our show's not even made for men. I think we have more women that listen than men. They put us on their list of podcasts that men should check out. So we're having fun with money, and that's kind of our niche.
Yeah, that's great. And congratulations on those recognitions. That's fantastic.
I was shocked. We didn't have to pay anybody $20 either, which was amazing, Gary. I was excited. Yeah.
And only $20. You have to pay a lot more than that to get those.
Right. That's right.
So I looked at your website, and I honestly, I didn't think that you were serious when you said that you actually broadcast live from your mom's basement in beanbag chairs. I thought it was like an off-the-cuff kind of joke, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, I think that podcasts need a sense of place, you know. I mean, so thinking about my art, like the people listening to the show think critically about their art. If I think about my art, I really like a sense of place. Mm-hmm. I like a little bit of story. So I like the fact that we have this place, that it's my mom's house, that the basement isn't the best place ever to have all podcasters, as you know, are running from the basement, which is why I wanted to run toward it, right? If everybody's running one direction, I want to go the other way. We have my mom's neighbor, Doug, who's our announcer guy on the show, and me and my co-host, a guy that he's a certified financial planner who originally wanted to be able to speak off the cuff without the constraints that we talked about earlier, all the suits that tell you can't say things. So we couldn't use his name. We now can use his name, but we weren't able to use his name at first. So we just called him the other guy. And what's funny is that not only did we call him the other guy, all of a sudden I realized that other guy is OG, like original gangsta. Yeah. Except for us, it doesn't mean original gangsta, it just means other guy. And so the show is Joe and OG so as you can tell, we really enjoy what we do.
It definitely sounds like it. So you broadcast live from Texas then, I'm guessing?
Yes. Yeah, from Texarkana, Texas. And
okay.
There's a funny joke there too, and I'll let everybody behind the curtain for just a second. We don't have basements in Northeast Texas. Like there is no such thing as a basement here. The ground is clay, and you can't have basements. But whenever anybody asks us officially, I will deny that I said that ever on your show. I will deny it forever. So that's our secret.
Excellent. I'm also curious because before we move on past your podcast, so is it just so happens that the people that you interview are in town? Do you fly them in? How does?
Oh man,
how does
you're asking for all the secrets, aren't you?
I know the live because I am not that fancy. I broadcast through Skype, so I'm really curious on the live.
All right,
how does that work?
I'll pull back the curtain again, and I'll have to deny this later.
Okay.
Our guests are also on Skype. But we have an awesome editor for our show, a guy named Steve Stewart, okay, who makes sound effects of people coming down the stairs and pulling up the chair. And the guests always, I tell them they don't have to play along. And holy cow, we get people, New York Times columnist Carl Richards, just awesome column. he does art, by the way, these little drawings about finance that I love, just makes everything simple. When he came down, he went on and on about shag carpeting going up the wall. And I'm thinking, where are you coming up with this stuff? Like, and he's just going, I haven't seen that since the 70s, Joe. And I'm trying to follow him because he's decided to make my basement something different than what I had thought of. So, all right, great. But no, guests are on Skype, and if or they're on a telephone, and if the sound is really bad, we say that I'm walking over to my dad's shortwave radio in the corner, and we fire up my dad's shortwave radio, and we talk to them on that.
I like it. That's right there. That's creativity. I like it.
Well, you know what it is, and I'll tell you what it is for me. There's a guy who's one of my favorite books that bridge being an artist and business, and his name is Austin Kleon. And I just love Austin Kleon has this wonderful book called Steal Like an Artist. Mm-hmm. And what he says is there's two ways to steal stuff. The first way is to be a thief, really, and just rip people off and do exactly what they do. No, my show has a tone that's like car talk, but if you listen to it, if I hadn't told you that was car talk, you would have never thought of car talk. You would have just heard the tone. And then, I like shows that are kind of magazine style, because I've got bad ADD. And so our show's on to something different, like every 7 or 8 minutes. I like the Tonight Show, like Jimmy Fallon. So you'll hear a little bit of Tonight Show in our show. So I've taken these things that I really like that have nothing to do with money, and I've kind of fused them into money to make a product that I would want to listen to. Because as you know, for your show, you've got to be your own biggest fan, right? And
yeah, of course.
And if you don't love what you do, then how are other people going to love it? So I'd highly recommend that book to anybody listening. It's a really easy, quick read. Love Steal Like an Artist.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've got a copy on my shelf. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I am curious then about the finance side, since that is what your main focus is.
Is it? No, I'm kidding.
Sometimes, anyway. How do you? So, if you're speaking with somebody who is just starting off, and you may have gotten this question a lot of times, but someone who's just starting off, or someone who has really neglected their finances for a long time, because to them finances is just not fun. What do you usually say to somebody like that, or how do you approach finances in a way that it's not like this, oh my God, I gotta save for retirement kind of a thing?
Yeah, no, the cool thing about finance is that coming is the fun. Technology has really made it a lot more fun than it used to be. But I'll start off with this mindset thing. I was talking back when I was a financial planner, I was talking to one of my clients, and I was telling him about how when I meet somebody who's really struggling, they don't think they're diligent enough, or they don't think they pay attention enough, right? They think, oh, I should pay attention to my money, but it stresses me out. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What he said was really cool. He said, the key for me getting where I've gotten has been not to make more good decisions with my money. It's to make a good decision once and then to replicate it over and over using automation. And that's the key, is that for most of us, if you have an art that you love and you don't want to think about money, don't think about money. Spend maybe one Sunday afternoon saying, you know what, if I change my direct deposit over to my savings account instead of my checking account, and then I set up a budget, and by budget, all I mean is not this line-by-line horrible thing that people hate. Mm-hmm. What I mean is I'm only going to spend this much money per week of the money I bring in, because everybody equates, by the way, the amount of money they're bringing in with the amount of money they have to spend. Yeah. And if you think about it, those two don't have to go together. So I direct deposit instead of my checking to a savings account, and then I take a smaller bite out of that, and I have my bank move that money over to my checking, so I only have a percentage of that to available to spend. Now I'm automatically saving money without even thinking about it. Like, that's one good decision. It takes one day, and not even one day, it takes 1 hour to set that up. And what's cool is, Yuri, is that the effects of that decision will last your whole life until you change it again. Yeah. Like you never have to think about that decision again. How cool is that? Like, if I can think about my art one more time and not think about that, that's really cool.
It is, because it's I'm in that boat of, like, I really don't like thinking about my finances all the time, because I find it stressful.
Yes. Well, and then there's some things that just make it fun. So I'll give you a couple more examples. Sure. There is this cool app I like called Tip Yourself. And the guys that made Tip Yourself, they're in Chicago. They said, and I have nothing to do with them. We have them on the show. We have fintech people on the show every Friday in the middle of our show. We call it FinTech Friday. And I don't endorse any of these things. I just think it's cool how many tools are out there that nobody's ever thought of. I find it fascinating, all these things. But anyway, what these guys did was they said, hey, you tip the waiter or waitress at your restaurant. How come you never tip you? Like when you do something really cool, like you actually go for that run in the morning, how come you don't tip yourself $5 for doing that or $10? So they have this tip jar where whenever you do something cool, you just click the app and hit the tip jar, hit the button that says $5, and $5 goes out of your checking account and moves over to this tip jar account that you might use for vacations in the future. And man, that makes it fun because I hate going to the gym, but if I'm going to tip myself $5 every time I do it, it totally changed the game. It was really neat. I like that.
Wow, that's a really, really great idea. It follows along this book I read a while ago called The Power of Habit, and that's the same kind of thing where if you're starting a new habit, you have to basically reward yourself in some kind of way. So your brain is like, yes, let me keep doing this because good things will happen.
Right. Oh no, it's funny how quickly it just tickled my ego. Well, look at that. I deserve a tip.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one. So Chime Bank. Chime Bank has has this deal where it comes. Now the bad news is that it comes with this Visa debit card. But what's cool is for a lot of people, credit cards are a trap, right? If you've been through the credit card trap, like a lot of times these rewards, I don't hate the rewards for everybody, but if you're somebody that struggled with that before, this might be for you. So comes with this Visa debit card. And what happens is if you go to the grocery store, they round up all of your purchases, right, to the next dollar or next $5 or however you set it. So they round up your purchases so that you automatically save a little money. And then at the end of, I can't remember if it's every week or every month, they give you a 10% bonus on all the roundups that you did. So you end up not only saving money, but then they high five you and give you more money because you actually rounded up. And that's just a way of saving extra money and not getting into credit card trouble, because you're only spending your money. That one's really cool. And by the way, if you use credit cards, how about this one? If you do use a credit card and you've had trouble with them before, there's a site called Debet Eyes. And what Debet Eyes does is it turns your credit card into a debit card. So let's say you want to get those reward miles. Mm-hmm. Whenever you spend money on your credit card, it will automatically treat it like a debit card by taking the money out of your checking account right away. So you can't spend it and that bill gets paid in full.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. I wish I would have had that a few years ago. That would have been so much easier. Yeah.
Me too. I was, coming from English and from creative writing, I was horrible with money. I mean, I was giving people advice about money in the early days, and I was just rotten. And you have to do it. You have to do what you know, which is to gamify it. You have to gamify it. You have to use apps, and you have to do what that rich guy told me, which is make it so you actually, whenever you make a good decision, capture it and figure out how to automate it so that you don't have to think about that crap ever again. Because I'm with your listeners that don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And if I do want to think about it, that's why we created our podcast. If I do think about it, I want to do it in a playful way. I don't want somebody yelling at me about how bad I am with my money.
Yeah. I'm curious then to hear your thoughts since you're in the finance world. Do you have any opinions about Betterment or Wealthfront? Because they're supposed to be doing the similar kind of thing where they take away the human decision side of it, and you can automatically start depositing money in their account, and then they use AI to like redistribute your portfolio and make it so that things will constantly keep going. Do you have opinions about them one way or the other?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I have an opinion about everything. If you couldn't tell, so I like them. I like it. I think they call those companies robo advisors, which I think is a horrible name because an advisor makes it so that you behaviorally are going to change, and there's nothing they do that's going to help your behavior. Like if the market starts tanking and you're afraid of the market and you pull your money out of Betterment, nobody at Betterment is going to say, you should have done that. They now have a second level that they've added where you can pay for that.
Okay.
So I like it. I like the way they diversify portfolios for you, so you don't have to think about that. I like the fact that it can be autopilot. You can set up, once again, automatically be investing without ever thinking about it. And they're going to use this thing called modern portfolio theory, which is this guy, Harry Markowitz, won a Nobel Prize for. So your money's going to be diversified correctly is all that means. It'll be diversified very well. You're not going to get rich overnight with that, but you're also never going to have to go, holy cow, where did my